Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Ask Tari. So in my last video we were talking about the process of moving to Canada as a permanent resident via the Express Entry program. So today we are just going to touch on the total cost that is involved in this move. It's not just proof of funds that is needed for this process to happen. There's a lot of things that you pay for, and I just want to let you guys know how much you'll be paying and at which stage, right? So we will start with the educational credentials assessment. With World Educational Services, you pay roughly about $160. This includes assessing your qualifications and also then mailing or sending the information to immigration, right? So I've translated all these amounts to United States dollars just to give one round figure, because some of them are going to be in Canadian dollars, some are going to be in US dollars. So I'm just going to put it in US dollars, right? So ECA, check, $160. And then for the IELTS, if you go on the British Council website and you click on your country, you'll find out how much the IELTS exam is going to be for you. So for the IELTS test in Zimbabwe, it's costing $265. I will later on show you on my computer all the sites and the costs and where they are, and I'll also put the links to these sites in the description in this video. So English test, educational assessment. We go on to medicals. When I did my medicals, they cost me roughly around $200. That's in Zimbabwe. This will vary depending on the countries. The Canada immigration, it will give you a list of doctors which you can go, like Canada approved doctors, which you can go to get your medical exam. So the medicals, they pretty much charge the same. It was around $200 thereabouts, right? Police clearance, I'm just going to put $10, even though it's much cheaper. Right, so we then have the processing fee and the right to permanent residence fee. If you add the two, you pay these at the point of applying, when you're now submitting your application after you've gotten the invitation to apply. This translates to $785.71, so $786. Then we go to the proof of funds. Proof of funds for one individual is $9,791. And then I put other expenses, $150, because you incur other expenses. The fuel you burn or the transport money you will use to travel and get all these documents, all the paperwork, the courier fees you pay your institutions to send your documents to us. That's what I put on the miscellaneous expenses. So this brings us to a total of $11,361.81. Don't know if you can see properly. So this is the total cost for one person, right? This is roughly how much I spent on this whole process. So I'm going to now show you the different websites where you can get these costs, where I got these costs and populated them in one sheet for you guys. And we'll also talk a little bit more about proof of funds, why you need proof of funds, how much you need depending on the size of your family, and how long you need to keep it in your bank account. There's so many questions around proof of funds, how to do a gift deed, how to do the letter of explanation, all of those things. I'm going to be talking about all of those things shortly. See you soon. Okay, so now we are on the west site, World Educational Services, for the educational credentials assessment. So we'll come here, evaluations and fees, because we want to find out how much that is. Immigration. Right, so this will be a document by document evaluation. This is what you choose, right? So if you've got more than one document, you also pay ×2, like in this case. For one, it's $100 or $145. It depends with what you choose. And this is all in Canadian dollars. So I had 2 qualifications, so I paid $200. And then the additional fees, there was standard delivery. At the time, this was $7. So I paid a total of $207 to Wes. If you want the documents to be couriered, it's also your choice. You can pay for courier, but there's really no need. So this is where you get the costs for Wes. And then when you now want to get your reference number, because what happens with Wes is you need to first sign in and then pay. After you pay, they will give you a reference number. That reference number is the one that you will use to request for information from your institutions. You will then email or call the institutions and give them the reference number and ask them to produce the transcripts for you. And yeah, that's basically it. So you will just sign in right there. Yeah, so that's Wes for you. British Council. This really depends on your country. So I just looked for IELTS Zimbabwe, right? And they'll have the test dates, the fees, and the locations. So for Canada Immigration, we will be doing the IELTS General Training Paper. See, it's $265 US. And it'll give you a list of dates, and you can choose the date where you want to write. March, let's say Harare. Choose the general. Fees list. This is now the Government of Canada website. It's now showing you how much you will need to submit your application. Remember when I was talking about the $785? This is it right here. You pay the processing fee and the right of permanent residence fee. These are all in Canadian dollars, but if you translate to US dollars, it'll be about $785. When I paid it, it was about 800 and something. I think it was because of the exchange rate differences. So if you have a spouse, remember for all these costs I've been telling you, if you've got a spouse, that means they're also paying, you're paying double. So if it's IELTS, 265 by 2. If it's ECA, 160 by 2. If it's medicals, 200 by 2. Medicals for a child, the child will probably pay half. So it'll be 200, 200, and then 100. So with this one, you have the option of paying the processing fee first and then paying the right of permanent residency fee later on. They'll request for you to pay it whilst they're processing your application. So if funds are tight, you can choose to pay this first and then pay this later. This is refundable. This is not. For child, a dependent child, it would be 150. So this is when you submit your application after getting your invitation to apply. Proof of funds. Funds required in Canadian dollars. Depending on the number of family members, this includes the principal applicant. So if there's one person, this is how much you pay. I already converted this to US dollars. That's why I said 9791 US dollars that time. If it's two of you, you and your spouse, you need 16,135. If it's you, your spouse, a third person or a child, 19. Fourth person, it goes up with the more people that you're bringing. And then after 7 people, for each additional family member, you're just adding 3,492. So now let's talk about proof of funds, right? I guess the biggest question that I get from proof of funds is that, do you need to have the money in your bank account for 6 months? And the answer is no. You don't necessarily need to have the money in your bank for 6 months, because you can always write a letter of explanation. I mean, you could even have the money 2 days before you submit your PR application, as long as you've got an explanation. You could have sold your car. You could have gotten a gift from your parents or from your relatives, right? So what they need is a bank statement showing your account, movements in your account. So they need a 6 months bank statement, but it doesn't mean that the money should have been in your account for 6 months. A bank statement and a letter from the bank Your bank must be converting whatever money you have in whatever currency that you have. They must be equating it to Canadian dollars, right? And basically just saying that the money is free from any loans, and it's solely for you. So this automatically answers the question, Yekuti, can I take out a loan for proof of funds? You cannot, because your bank has to declare that this money, you did not get it from a loan. It's your money. It's in your bank. It is free from anything. If you've been saving gradually, you don't necessarily need a letter of explanation. I remember I never had a letter of explanation because I kept this money in my account for quite a while. So I did not submit a letter of explanation. I just submitted my bank statement for 6 months, which was showing that I was deducting money from my salary every month into that account. And it also showed that I had my savings account for years, which had money in it. So I did not produce a letter of explanation, but I do recommend that you just do so, because you just never know, right? It's always good to always have that explanation in your account. Do you need to have the money in your account when you get to Canada? Do you need to produce the money to the visa officer? Some will ask for it, some won't. When I got here, I was just asked, do you have the money? And I said, yes, I do. And I was about to show him my bank statements, showing that there's still money in my bank and all of that. And the cash that I had. And then he was like, no need, just proceed. But others have been grilled about it. They've been asked, how much do you have? Can you prove it? etc, etc. Because they need you to have this money. Which brings me to the question, why do I need proof of funds? Proof of funds is basically proof that you can take care of yourself in Canada for the first few months whilst you're looking for a job. You don't come into the country and automatically start getting benefits, start getting free housing, free everything. You first need to work, right? So if you lose your job after working for a bit, yes, you can, the government will assist you, right? But before then, you won't even have medical, you won't be on the health system yet, right? It will take about 3 months. So you need to have your own money in order to take care of yourself. So you see why this can't be a loan or this can't be borrowed money, because you can borrow, put in your account, but when you leave the country and you come to Canada, you have to give that person their money back. And how will you survive when you come here, right? So if you have further questions about proof of funds, just let me know. We can do another video where we talk about it extensively, right? Yeah, so for today, that's what I have. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And you can communicate with me on Twitter at Tarioma Dimples. The link is in my channel information. You can follow me there. And you can also email me. My email is also in the video description. Bye-bye.